everybody. Welcome. I'm Mark Hilliard. I'm a master here on the Arcanum, and this evening is kind of special. This is Chris's level 19 critique. We're going to shortly cast him into the lake of fire and brimstone as he graduates from his Sphere 1 work and moves into Sphere 2 somewhere. We'll have to talk about that, Chris, towards the end of this, what you think your plans are, because we all want to know. And, God, I am just so excited to go through your images, because they are so absolutely wonderful. But if you would you take a few moments and talk about your path here through 0 and 1, your impressions, and are you walking away with what you had desired to walk away with?
Well, thank you, Mark, and hello to everyone else here in the cohort. I am humbled to have you all join me tonight as we go through this. My journey into the Arcanum and then through Sphere 0 and then Sphere 1 all started by personal connections. One of my favorite people to photograph with turned me on to this. We were out shooting a sunrise, and we were talking about, pushing ourselves and looking for another thing to do, if you will. We've been on workshops, we've taken online classes. What was the next step? And she was telling me about the Arcanum, and on the 1.5-mile walk back to the car, kind of hit me that this was something I would like to pursue. So I got the link and applied. When I came in, I really had some individual goals to see really how does my photography stack up against a wider audience. I think we're all faced, as we're learning the craft, our family's very kind to us, our close friends are very kind. Oh, that's a nice photo. We would like to hear from somebody else maybe that knows something about photography and can give us a little bit more critical eye on things. So I came checking myself on that. I wanted to see if there was any flaws or things that others would see in my work that I could correct and learn from. Always believing that you can improve both your in-camera craft and post-processing. How can I do it faster and stronger back here at the computer? But and maybe, just maybe, there's an elusive element that I was missing out there, and maybe we're all searching for that still, but it's still looking for, like, what makes a photo special. We kind of read about it and things. So Sphere 0 and most of Sphere 1, were some of the basics, working on dynamic range, white balance, some of the basics. So they became exercises, but nonetheless we completed them to do the tasks. What I get the most out of is seeing the interpretation or creative side from everybody else, because we all view it differently. And one thing that I think is extremely valuable here in this cohort is we all have different genres or focused themes. And while mine is nature and landscape wildlife photography, I enjoy still lifes from Pam or Rhonda's architectural things, because it just forces me to check the key composition elements, shadows, highlights, how things are playing out in their mind as they share their photos. So that's the big positive, and that's the takeaway, is being surrounded by other photographers that are pushing themselves. And so tonight we'll see some of the images that I've taken and see how they stack up on the journey.
Very good. And yeah, that's one of the things I always tell everybody when they start with the cohort as a brand new member, is that the strength here and the real power is the interpersonal relationships that we develop between one another. That's where the real power of this environment comes from, and it's one of the reasons why I was attracted to it. Normally, when we do workshops, I will lose touch with those that come to attend the workshop after the workshop ends, and they go off their way, and then we don't get an opportunity to follow up on them. And that opposite is absolutely the reason why it's so good here, because we're going to follow each other for the rest of our lives here. So your evaluation is quite correct, and it's to the point. I do have a question for you, though. Was your favorite person to shoot with by chance Mary?
Mary Preston Roberts, yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Very accomplished photographer here, so sort of locally or regionally, but we've shared some great times together out and about. Some
Yes.
wonderful locations.
I like Mary. I've known her for a long, long time, and you couldn't choose a better person to go hither and whither with. So that's very good to know. All right. Well, let's just jump right into this, shall we? The first thing I want to do is I want to just take a real quick look-see and share with you your level 18 images. And the reason that we do this is because the level 18A really is kind of out of everybody's comfort zone, because we're jumping away from the physics of exposure and the rubber rules of composition, and we're delving into the world of abstract and artsy-fartsy. And trust me, I understand that from a wildlife and vista landscape style of photography like you come from, this is difficult. And you engaged with passion, and you leapt into the project, and you succeeded at it. What were your feelings on these, Chris, when you were doing this?
Thank you so much. It goes back to that common theme of being with other photographers. This is on an Arcanium photo walk in western North Carolina, way out in the middle of nowhere along a Forest Service road, an area I know intimately, but you know, deep into the forest. And what do you shoot? So this is in-camera motion blur. Several photographers in our group, this was what they shoot 100% of the time. And just through a great dialogue and talking to them, you know, my aha moment. I was searching for what am I going to do creatively. So the real trick is here, you just keep shooting. You vary your movement, you vary your, your setup, and you just keep shooting, and then you hope you get something that's acceptable, because there's no right and there's no wrong. That's what's pleasing to the eye. And so these are two examples that I was drawn to that are pretty much straight out of camera, but very impressionistic.
Yes, they are, and they're very well done. This is what I call the woo-woo level. Okay, where we get in touch with our internal woo-woo. And you did a very good job, but you didn't answer my question.
I'm sorry. What did I miss?
Did you enjoy this? Did you like doing this?
Yeah, because I kind of challenged myself to what could I get? Could I get, you know, the hard part here is I don't like to take a lot of photos and then hope for the best.
Yeah.
This is totally opposite. You're taking a lot, hoping for the best.
Yeah, you're right. This is very interpretive. And you did a wonderful job.
Yeah. It was uncomfortable, yes, but it's something, you know, that I may do from time to time. When I completed this part of the exercise or the task, yeah, I'm not sure what I'd do. I don't think I would share these on my website because I'm not comfortable saying that's my best work. I don't know. You know,
you're not a woo-woo kind of guy. That's right.
They're going to look out of place next to my other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not going to put a bear in between these.
Right.
But you did a good job, and I appreciate the effort that you put into this, because I know that this was way out of your comfort box.
Yeah.
But yet you did it, you engaged it, and you did it marvelously. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
I'm very, very happy with your results. All right. let's talk about your favorites. And I have to preface this with I love every single one of these images that you've provided for these. So I'm going to let you talk about these, not about the physics of taking the picture, but what you walked away from the picture after you captured it. This, like I said, these are world class.
Well, thank you. I kind of vacillate, and I've said this before in the cohort. Each time we've had to present, images for critique, and I took some time today to look back because I was doubting myself, saying, did I really get the best 5 in there, or And then you go through this realization, like, oh my gosh, I've got nothing, because you're so self-critical, and you always feel like there's better ones. But this one, this jumps out at me always immediately. For 2 things: to be this close to a bear that most people would be very scared of, even though I'm using some long lens here, but it's just such a peaceful moment. And then something that I've adopted in the last few years is shooting in bad weather, and you can see it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
So this is sort of the ode to don't go inside, stay outside.
Mm-hmm.
Wait it out, and then you just are amazed at what happens. And so just an unbelievable capture here. I've sent this in as a submission for the Appalachian Mountain Photo Contest as well, which is a big juried show here locally.
Mm-hmm.
So in the flower fauna category. I'm very interested to see how it does there, because it's going to be unique. There's over 1,200 images usually entered in the category. I know many photographers are entering it, but this one, of the images I took this 4-day trip on this bear trip, this is just one of the special ones.
It is indeed. Did you also submit this to Members' Choice?
No, I did not.
This one probably would have walked away with a win.
I know, but that's more of a political story.
Yeah, it is. But no, this is a beautiful image. It shows a level of comfort with your subject that we don't normally see. And I do agree with you. The rain adds a certain mysticism to the overall image. And I can't help but wonder, if you were getting rained on as well. But you're sharing the environment with the bear, and it's very peaceful, and it's a side of nature. It's a side of bears that we don't normally see this intimately.
Right, and I think there's so much in the news that photographers can be accused of harassing wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, in this situation, this bear is totally comfortable with me waiting it out. But and I like to pride myself on that ethical portion as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but a stunning image, and I hope you do well with your submission of it.
Thank you.
All right, let's do the next bear.
Yeah, all right, this one got picked for a couple of reasons. Same sort of general area as the last one, and a couple days later, I just saw this spot where the bears were climbing up and down the trees often, so I just waited out till I got the right bear in the right place, and got very, very lucky that it all worked out. But patience and persistence, I guess, carries the day. But to see this wild animal in an environment like this is a very large bear in a tree. Just really kind of summed up my whole trip to go do photography of the bears, because I came with so many ideas of what I wanted, and then left with things that I could never imagine. So it's bear in the environment again, a little bit different take, but just kind of, I see you, you see me kind of image.
Yeah, you got to wonder what the bear is thinking as that looks at you. And looking at you is indeed what's happening here. I mean, there's no question. This is not in a zoo. This is not This is not a captive animal. Um, you've got you've got a real solid capture here. And the nice thing about this particular composition, this would make a beautiful magazine cover.
Right.
Can you think of any magazines that maybe you should send this to?
I actually sent this to the lodge where I stayed during this trip. They had a wall full of pictures of bears from the area, um, and so I kind of wanted to thank them because they were very gracious to get food out for me and a couple other photographers at 5 in the morning as we were leaving,
Mm-hmm.
instead of at 6:30 when everybody else would be eating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, now that the winter's here, these are the things you think about. Where can I submit this stuff? So.
Yeah. But this is an amazing image. I actually like this better than the bear in the rain.
Right.
This one is much more intimate because the bear is looking at you, and you are in a direct interaction with the beastie. And there's just something about that. It captures the imagination. So well chosen, well done, a perfect image. There's nothing that could be improved on this other than me being there instead of you.
Be glad to do it.
Yeah. All right, let's go to this one. Oh, I remember this one too.
Yeah, this is an older image, but really is an example of a huge thing I took away from in my journey here, is that I probably could do a lot more in post-processing than I felt comfortable with. You had commented and others that this was flat, lacking contrast. This is the fully updated version, and with all the new techniques that I learned in Vivisa as far as structure, adding spot saturation to certain trees. And so this is a reprocessed image of one of the original images, but it's still one of my favorite because I've been to this place 3 times since, and it just has in the fall, and it still has not looked like it did a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is a prime example of why they call them the Smokies, huh?
Yeah. So.
And you're right. You post processing on this is very well done. It's got contrast. It's got beautiful colors. The fog's been brought out nicely, and there's a lot of wonder in this because you can't see, down below the fog, but yet we have the trees poking up above it. It's a very mystical style of imagery, and it's one that's easy to get lost in as a viewer. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think that this is one of your better works over time.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and it's taught me, again, the takeaway here too is to shoot long lenses for traditional wide-angle, vista shots. This is, I believe, at 300 or 400 millimeter on a full-frame body. So there is detail to be found, in the grand landscape.
Oh, there most definitely is, and that's one of the prime 20 rules of photography, along with be patient. In that a detail image of the vista can have just as much information and wonder as the entire vista itself. And you have proven that here, and along as with other images that you have presented through the time. And I love this. You did a marvelous job on this. This was a very good learning image. And,
yeah, it's now favored.
Yep, well done. And you got us. One of the other prime rules is don't second guess yourself. It's like you were saying, you didn't know which images would be your best, and you kept going back to them and back to them and back to them. But in all honesty, the ones you picked are perfect. So, yep, you've come a long way. And I'm very, very happy with the results. Oh, I just love this image.
I do too. It's you talk about an image that you've pre-visualized ahead of time. I have a similar image from a different spot in the Smokies, but from a couple of years ago. This is over just outside of Cherokee, North Carolina, that side of the park, on the North Carolina side. To just kind of take a moment we were shooting about an hour and a half away from here, which is only about 40 miles away, and we knew we were going to have about an hour's worth of cloud cover from 11 o'clock to say 12 to 12:30, and I convinced another photographer who was traveling with me. I said, we need to go to this spot. I know it's going to be good. And we did, pulled up, and this was right from the small little Forest Service road, and in this place called Big Cove, and set the shot up. And down on that big rock in the center, not pictured, was me going down to clear out a tree branch to make this a little bit cleaner composition. So scrambled down the bank and then got back up because I'm sort of anal about that stuff. But I think it was well worth it, and just a magical scene there, and the light was perfect.
Yep. No, trust me, going to those extremes to make the shot better is worth it each and every time, as long as you don't go swimming.
Well, the camera was away. I don't care if I get wet. I always carry extra stuff. So.
But no, this is such a clean image. Nothing on the edges, nothing distracting on the rocks, no misplaced branches or brambles. A good. Did you also go like the flower girl at a wedding and sprinkle the little?
I did not have to do that part of it. That was done for me. But yeah.
I love the muted colors that the clouds give this. And, it has everything looks wet. Was there still water on the leaves of the trees?
I believe so, because it had rained just a little bit. That would have been, 100% ideal, is to have a heavy mist going on.
Oh yeah.
Where everything would have been glistening, and but we'll take this. It's very nice.
This one needs to go to the magazines too, Chris.
Yeah, I think. Thank you.
It does. This is just so stunning and so perfect in so many ways. Every time I look at this, it leaves me breathless. It's an image that you can fall into and have a hard time climbing back out of. But this is truly wonderful. Well done. We come back to this image.
Yeah. This is, as we said, where it all began, and that's probably why it made it in today. I took this. This is the spot, Memorial Day weekend, where I was shooting with Mary Preston Roberts, and another photographer, Dave Edwards. 3 a.m. departure, hour to hike up here, hoping we get something like this. Again, it's the connectivity to the other photographers, which you don't get in this photo. I think of that. But Linville Gorge looking east across North Carolina, just from the Hawksbill Mountain, just a unbelievable sky that morning, and the layering of the mountains. This is why I get into photography, is shots like this and waiting on a moment like that.
And why you can get up at 3 a.m. and then walk for an hour to get up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is just breathtaking, and this is the reason people go up to the rocky points and knobs in order to get shots like this. This is amazing. Even the treatment on the rust-colored foliage here in this foreground plant, just stunning. Great color saturation. I just love everything about this. And you're right, you got a perfect morning sky, didn't you?
It was totally lucky. Yep.
Well, I'm not going to say luck with you anymore, because you get up, you go out early, you're out looking for these scenes. that throws the concept of luck away. You're not going to get this every time, but the fact that you're out there time and time and time again says that you're going to get it. Others that wouldn't venture out don't have any chance.
Well, we've just got to commit. One thing we do know is that this was after it rained pretty good the day before, so clearing storm usually leaves good skies like this.
Yep. But seriously, this is a lovely image, and these 5 images are a very, very good example of your best work. And it goes way beyond best. These are stunning images. And I'm proud to have been able to share them with you.
Thank you.
All right. So now, how shall we proceed?
Well, let's go to the early photos, sort of go to the beginning of this.
All righty. All right. Yeah, see the difference between this and the cascades that you had in your best work?
Right. I mean, this is really I love this image in the past, but that's kind of why it was sort of the same kind of theory.
Yeah, this is that image where you were standing on the bank, right?
This is off of a bridge off of a Cradle of Forestry in North Carolina.
Okay.
And my original comment to this is it's the thing that drives me nuts about this image is the water's flowing away from
backwards,
it. But, but that's here nor there because most time the viewer doesn't get that. But it was framed up again. Donna Eaton and Adam Jones were leading a workshop, and I ran into them in the middle of the forest, and they said, "Oh, Chris, just keep going." A few more miles, and told me about this spot, and so we all came away with sort of the same image. So it goes back to that camaraderie of other photographers just engaging in conversation and helping each other out. So, but it's this was one of I think my introductory photos I may have shared.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember well. We talked a long time about this photo.
Yeah.
And it's funny to think that you get one with the water moving the opposite way that you normally look at it, and it can still be a stunning photograph. And this is a very good photograph, even as a starting one. I know we spent a lot of time talking and talking about different ways to work this one, but believe it or not, this is still a very good photograph.
Yeah. I put this one in just as the starting point again. We don't have to talk about this again, but
but your comments were very good though.
Yeah, wanted to make sure we covered off of this, got it all started there.
Yep. All right. And this is your peanut butter haul.
Right. This is a complete setup shot, but what I shared is this is how you practice, if you will. This is my backyard bird habitat. I was putting peanut butter smear in the tree, that same tree this weekend, and the woodpeckers were there. But I was just feeding them rather than doing photography on them. But this is just keeping your skills fresh, practicing long lens techniques in a controlled environment. And you get to try a lot of things. So that's why I included this one. But, again, it's completely staged, but yet, you have to have the bird land in the right spot and be prepared.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Now, I have a question for you. Do the woodpeckers stay there during the winter for you?
They do, yeah.
Well, I hope you keep those holes filled then.
They eat a lot, and trying to keep the squirrels away is the other big factor.
I hear you there. Yeah, I've got red-headed and red-bellied woodpeckers in my backyard.
Yeah, I just had a big red-headed one this morning, and I was, where's my stuff? But if I keep feeding him, he'll stick around.
Yeah, I find the red-headeds to be very skittish.
Yeah.
And the red belly ones, they're not afraid of anything. They squawk. Well, you know when they're coming because they squawk before they swoop down.
Right.
And if you get too close to them, they turn and squawk at you. They're not so much afraid as they
Well,
are
I
either.
actually have a little camouflage blind, so
Mm-hmm.
keeps me hidden.
Yep. Very nice. I still like this, and I like this image.
I put this in just because it's the wild card. You know, not the landscape, not the wildlife, but it's something that I like doing from time to time. And this is at a place called Hart Square. One weekend a year this happens, and or one Saturday really in October. You just have all these kind of people sitting around doing old-timey country stuff here in the South, and I just love the expression on the guy's face here. And so just to show something that I do some different things.
Yeah, well, I love the detail down the frets of the banjo. It just everything about this image is so sharp and clear. The choice of black and white was a good choice. But more importantly, this image, which came on early on, shows your willingness to step out of your box again. That in your sports pictures that you've been doing.
Right.
And you've shown great improvement on the people side of things for the sports and the street. Tom would call this street photography, even though it's not, but it can be, you know. And like I said, it shows an area of expertise that you may not realize that you possess, but you indeed do.
Mm-hmm. And what's favorite since I joined, right? That's next on our list.
That'd be it. Yeah, we're gonna look at these on the big screen now. See them in all their glory. Oh my God! There's a bee climbing up my back.
Well, the football game was not that exciting at this point, but this guy was.
What the heck was he thinking? What was happening to him? It's like he's saying,
I don't know. He just was goofing around and playing his drum, and you know, I'm firing off rapid photos, thinking like, well, what do I want his hands up? Do I want his hands down? And then you know, when you get home, you're like, my gosh, look at those eyes, because that wasn't what the intent was. But I generally stopped, you know, from shooting the football game behind me.
oh yeah, this was a priceless capture.
Right. So.
I would love to know what was happening that caused that facial expression.
I don't know.
Shoot, I left the iron on or something, you know?
Yeah, right. Somebody just threw something. I have no idea, but
yep.
Fun capture.
This is an example of your comfort outside of the area that you normally work in, and the willingness to go out and do this kind of thing and share it with the world speaks volumes about you.
Whoop.
He says, "Don't get too close."
Yeah, I know that's, you know, another one from the bear trip, but we had all kinds of debate when we were getting ready for those 20 new works, and so I still just love this face in the water in the duckweed and just sitting there looking at us. Big bear, but just a fun shot. I've got several of these. So.
Well, you probably have hundreds and hundreds of these.
Right, because as we discussed, you're waiting on the ears, you're waiting on the eyes, and then it just all comes together.
Yep.
So,
yep. And the nice thing is, and we don't care that you have lots of bear shots in your groups of images, because you go on a trip like this. I mean, how many people get the opportunity to get in with these bears like you did? And spend as much time photographing them? Of course you're going to come back and you're going to show lots of bear images. That's to be expected. I would do it. All right?
Yeah.
And this is a stunning image. I envy you not only the image but the trip.
Yeah, thank you. It was Trip of a lifetime. I'm very thankful.
Where's my teddy bear? Either that or they're making a Charmin commercial.
It's touchdown. The pride of this image, and I encourage everybody to Google this guy. He doesn't have a very good website, but the guy that took me on this trip, Bill Lee, and it's Lea. He is, I think, one of the foremost bear photographers in the country. If you ask him, and several friends of mine have run into him since this, and he's still talking about this image I captured on this trip. So when I showed it to him in my camera, he did not believe it. He goes, "Oh, you got to load that up in the camera." But when bears just sit up like this, it's unbelievable, and it gave me the touchdown symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And it's looking straight at me, of course, with the ears forward like a dog would be on alert.
Yep.
But just another favorite image. Just so unique and so special.
Yep, and it's one of those storybook images. So, yep, this one would have been a good one for members contest.
Yeah, that would be too.
Woohoo!
Well, we saw the guy drumming. This is what's probably happening in the other side in front of him. This is at my daughter's high school where I shoot all my high school sports stuff. They play this song called H2O on those drums and with a few other instruments, and then at the appropriate time spray each other with bottled water. And that's the mayhem that you see there. And it just happened to be like Hawaiian shirt night. And but I just love the emotion. It's just every kid's got some sort of crazy expression going on. So very special moment. Rhonda, is it time to sing?
Did you give this one? Did you give this one to the school newspaper?
I do, yeah. I always share some of them like these. 2 years ago, I got the same shot with a different crowd, and it sold for $800 at the high school art show. I felt so bad because there's some tremendous painters and potters. This was the #1 thing that they sold for their art auction to support the school, and it became the centerfold of their yearbook.
Amazing, and I can see why, it drew such a large amount of money. It is
a bunch of parents who had children, kids in the front row kept bidding on it, and so was very flattering. But
yep, amazing, and again, I suppose you could say that this is a wildlife shot.
Right, they're wild.
You betcha. Yes. Yeah, I remember our conversation on this image.
Right, this is a famous spot, not so much this area, but if you just followed this stream up 100 feet, you'd find the Estito waterfall that everybody loves to shoot, which is black. This is just downstream, and again, I'm going to give a shout out to Mary Preston Roberts. She's like, let's go find something different, so we went downstream while everybody else was shooting upstream, so to speak, and she went into the water in one area, and I said, well, Mary, I think behind you's better, and I got into the water with my waders and a very wide angle lens and got right up into the face of this waterfall and really loved the shot because it's just so different looking.
How deep was the water?
Mid-thigh, and I'm 6 foot tall, so, 2.5 feet.
Okay. So, and you were able to keep your footing and capture this.
Yeah, it was luckily very sandy there, so not slimy green moss. So
this is probably one of the most beautiful flowing water images I have ever seen.
Thank you.
The detail in it is just beyond description. I mean, the textures and the colors and the tones and the smoothness of the water flowing over the rock and then down showering off of this one. Yes. I would.
Rhonda, saying.
I'm here, Chris. I still got you. I
All
left
right,
some.
good. We've had this last problem. Mark
You're,
freezes every now and
Yeah.
Pam has to sing today because I sang all last night.
then.
oh yeah. No, no
All
singing
Let it
allowed.
go, let it go.
right, there we go. Well, thank you. It's a fun image. It was taken with my Fuji, so that was even more interesting.
Oh, the past one was the Fuji.
Yeah,
Oh, it's good capture.
but back to the big boy camera, the D800 here. So magical rock here. Just I don't know what I should do my research and figure out what kind of geology I captured here. But these rocks were just golden. So,
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they? And you know, now that I'm looking at this, is that the coloration of the rock, or is there lichen growing on this?
I might be gold like I don't know. I've got this spot marked. I went by here. I think Les Saucier was riding with me, and he says, "You went where?" And he was like, "I can't believe you climbed over the guardrail and went down there." And I said, "Well, Les, look at the shot." And he said, "Well, now I know why." But
So did he go down there with you?
no, he said, "Let's go eat some lunch." I said, "Okay."
That works. Yeah, that sounds like Les.
But just a fun time and a great place to just work a whole scene. I know we were joking around with Rhonda about that, but I've got about 40 or 50 shots in this series working this area, this 10-foot cascade maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But just one of my favorites from this past fall.
You see, the trouble with you, Chris, is most of these beautiful images that you bring forward to show us are all really hard to get close to, right?
Fairly, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to think in terms of the old farts like me climbing down there. But boy, it would sure be worth it for an image like this. Your post-processing is marvelous on this, and your treatment of the gold tones and the green on the rock is just superb.
Thank you.
You know, there's no fault on any of these images, which is what I would expect from you, and you have not let me down. So very, very well done. Well, let's see here. Let me bomb out of this. We'll come back here. You can listen to me talk to myself. Am I supposed to sing for you, Rhonda? An amazing
Not you,
collection.
someone else.
An amazing collection of images, Chris. You never fail to let us down with the splendor of your work. I do have to say, your in-camera captures are always right on the spot. Your composition is always dead on. I think the change that I've seen over the course of this year has been your handling of the post-processing. And I think that you've improved your post-processing skills beyond measure. And it doesn't seem like you're afraid to go in and try things in post-processing, which speaks volumes about you too.
Well, I think the difference is taking that slider just a little bit more, or maybe adding another layer to do something. My biggest takeaway has been, desaturate that water to make it that pure white, which is true, and then add just a hair structure to give it that detail. And it's just night and day the results that develop, and I'm grateful for that tip.
It is, and your imagery is amazing. Your post processing is Wow. I'm very proud of the work that you've turned out, and I like your growth, on the post-processing side of things. I think that that's probably your biggest step forward over the course of time. You engaged it, and even your exploration of the woo side was impressive.
Yeah.
So very well done. So, geez, this is everybody. You guys, you can unmute your mics. Talk to Chris about his images. If you want me to bring up an image, give me direction. If you want to discuss images, while you're unmuting, Chris, what do you think's next? Are you going to stay in the Arcanum? Are you going to look for a Sphere 2 program?
Well, some of us, as Pam and Rhonda have indicated, they're a little bit ahead. They've done some investigation into Sphere 2. I just know of the people that are in Sphere 2 as a master, and so that's kind of the next step, is to evaluate what the opportunities are there as far as matching it. I'm kind of open to a couple things. I have some personal ideas that I've been kicking around with, and this may be the right forum to do it. And it would definitely expand my, I hate to say post-processing, but computer skills.
Mm-hmm.
I travel in a fairly wide regional circle of photographers here, and I notice there's a gap in, and I'm just going to call it publishing high-quality photography from an exposure standpoint. And I'm thinking about some sort of online magazine to do that. I don't know. It's just a crazy idea that, as I drive around for work, I always think about stuff like that. And maybe the Sphere 2, helps me explore that, because through my email contacts and other social media stuff, I could dial up some tremendous photographers and share their work, and I think that would be, a great asset to all of us to see that work being done.
That could be your path into your millions too.
I have no idea, but that's kind of it. I'm always, as I said in my level 10, looking for I think my next photo is the better one. So there's that question.
We all do that.
Yep.
We all do that. Well, like I said, I'm going to cast you into the lake of fire and brimstone here, but that does not mean you have to leave.
Okay.
You are always welcome here. And in fact, I would be disappointed if you didn't stick around and comment and guide. And you have a lot of knowledge that you can impart on those around you. You have a skill set that's unique and very advanced. All right?
Thank you.
And I would love for you to stay around and work with everybody. Because like I said, this isn't just a one-time deal here. This isn't a one-shot workshop where people come and go and then you lose track of them. I'm in this for the long haul and establishing a relationship with photographers that I meet here for a lifetime. Now, granted, my lifetime is going to be shorter than your lifetime. I'm a bunch older. But still, that's why I like the Arcanum, because these relationships will go on beyond the people here. And I find that very fulfilling. So by all means, please stay around. If I can assist you with Sphere 2 selection or letters, I will be more than happy to.
Okay.
The Sphere 2s are coming online just so incredibly slow because they're worried about the number of people waiting for Sphere 2s being too low and having all the Sphere 2 programs with nobody in them. And while I can understand that, I do think that even if we trickle in one or two at a time into the Sphere 2 programs. That's going to give you more of a closer time with the master there, and you're going to get more and greater one-on-one time. And to me, that just makes sense.
Right.
So I have to tell you, you've, aside from your whining in level 6, you have been an absolute pleasure and a good motivator as well. It's always nice to have a very high-value photographers, if you will, with lots of capabilities and skills, because it pushes us all. And I'm no exception to that. You know, your work forces me to engage even further. My day is not complete if I don't learn something from one of you each and every day. All right, and Chris, you've had a lot to teach, and I think that's a very, very positive thing.
Thank you very much.
Everybody, come join us.
Yeah, I can confirm the part about a lot to teach, Mark. And Chris, congratulations. And I just wanted to remind you that I've been the beneficiary of some of your feedback on some of my my critiques, and it's stuff that I don't think I'll ever, you know, I know I won't ever forget them, those bits and pieces when I'm out in the field taking pictures, and I'll always remember that you gave me those tips. I just wanted to thank you and wish you luck with whatever you're going to do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As I have said, Chris, impersonation is the sincerest form of flattery. I put up those 5 that I took, and you and I had that hangout to look at them. And there was a shot before that I put up, and I was like, okay, if I only get one shot, like Chris said, you get one shot. How do you want to frame this? And that was that boat shot down in the town 50 miles from my house, and it was the boat where I got low on the boat. And I tagged you in it, and I said, those words ring through my head. And so it's true. You got a nice way of cutting away the feathers and getting to the meat.
Glad it worked.
Good way to put it.
True. Good straight advice.
Absolutely. Always appreciate your
Oh.
feedback.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I always appreciate your feedback, Chris, and thank you. And great
You
stuff.
are welcome.
Congratulations, and I know you're going to do great things because you already do. So.
Thank you so much.
You've always inspired me. I go down to the creek and try to take pictures. They don't come out like yours. But I still do it. And that's because of you.
Well, I very much appreciate that, Pam. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just no more falling in.
I didn't fall in the creek. I just slid down the bank on my butt.
Okay.
Right.
That's not falling then. That's intentional.
It was a fast way to get down. Yeah.
Those pictures are hard to take. I'd spent a weekend there in his backyard, Chris's backyard, trying to take pictures. That one that I put up that I knew was a blown out shot, and he looked when he seen it, he was like, "So, what time of the day did you take this?" Yeah, okay. But you know, what he said to me was, "This is the product of trying to get every picture in that you can get in on a trip when you're this far away from home." I'll be back in January, February to get some cold contrast.
Yep. And like I said, so many of the places he goes, they're hard to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's how you get some of the better shots.
That is a profound truth.
Well, you use your water shoes very well.
The best $80 I've spent.
Exactly. No, I love your work. I tell you that all the time. You inspire me to get up early in the morning when I really don't want to.
Thank you. Thank
But
you
I
all.
still don't get the shots you get, so I'm never going to post those.
Never know.
Well, everybody has to have their niche. And we've seen what Chris's is, but we've also seen that you're willing to step out of that comfort zone. And Pam, you have your niches, and Rhonda, you're definitely a wabi-sabi black and white kind of girl, but yet you do other work as well. So
Tonight I'm going to go shoot Pam's pomegranate. As soon as she sends me a lighting diagram for all those damn candles.
Don't burn the house down.
Yeah, I've already been warned about that a couple times.
I use Novena candles. They don't tip over.
I was going to use tea lights.
Now,
I
tea lights
doubt
don't
those
tip
are tip
over,
over.
but they do. They're easy to get kicked around.
I
Novena.
don't have a cat, so I
Yeah.
don't have that issue.
You have a husband though.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get your point.
That's a big ass candle.
Yep. But they're very sturdy and they don't tip over. It's what they use in the churches. And in
Now we all know her secret.
Yep. See, we've all learned something. That was my item for the. Well, no, I have to actually say I've gotten a couple items. Did you watch Brandon's? No, I haven't put the video up. Wait till you see Brandon's video from today on his talk about underwater work.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
You were going to be shocked at the amount of money that goes into that.
Oh, no, I won't.
Yes. That was impressive.
Oh yeah, it was scary, impressive. But so no, we all get a chance to learn things here from each other. So
Yes, you have no more homework for a while. You can sit back, relax, drive the countryside, and imagine all that you want to without having to go, crap, I gotta make that video for level 18B. What the hell am I gonna put in that freaking video?
I wasn't sure I was going to get that video out of you, man.
Well,
I didn't think you were either.
luckily that technology was easy.
I
It was in
thought
the
for sure
bookcase
you would
back
quit
here
before
for a
doing
while
that
I flirted
video.
with, making videos. But there's a book that says how to shoot video that doesn't suck, and it's barely cracked open.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah.
You did a good
You
job.
did. You did a great job.
You know, and to be honest, all of the level 19 people that shot the video in 18B, you all did amazing jobs.
In spite of all the whining you got from all three of us.
Yeah. And the biggest problem with Rhonda was getting her to slow down her speech so that she didn't sound like a chipmunk when she was talking.
Thanks.
The yellow box still says live, Ron, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I'll send it to my attorney.
There you go. No, we're going to record all this.
Yeah.
But anyways, congratulations, Chris.
Thank you, everyone, because you all had a part.
Yeah, you are an amazing photographer, and I know we're going to see great things from you.
We're going to see
Are
you
you-
on the
are you
cover of
going
Nat
to,
Geo next year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to the annual meeting, Chris?
I hope to. I haven't done the paperwork yet for it, to sign up, but it's an hour away, so it's not a big deal.
The hotel is full.
Yeah.
It's only an hour away. He'll go home.
Well, I like hanging out with people there. We have a good time hanging out.
Yeah, well, I normally sit with Les. We have booze in the vendor room.
Right.
We're always together. So while I'm going to have to stay at a different hotel, which is a bummer, I still think I'm going to go.
Well, good.
And for the rest of
Fly
you,
and sign up and go.
yeah, for the rest of you who live on the southeastern or mid-eastern coast, you should consider joining CNPA as well, because the annual meeting is worth it all by itself.
We have one of our members, one of the founding members, I guess you could say. He was just named I think Nature's Best Smithsonian Wildlife Photographer of the Year in the world.
Wow.
Out of South Carolina, a guy named Don Worry that I've known for some time, and unbelievable bird photographer. His shot is magical. That one.
Yeah, he's probably the only guy in the world that you will ever meet that has a car dedicated to carry lenses, an SUV,
Yep.
with pull-out drawers in the back.
Nice.
And $100,000 of glass for him and his wife.
Right. Matching set.
Matching sets.
Wow.
She's a tremendous photographer too.
And
So they can't even share?
No.
he's a retired doctor.
Oh.
Okay? But he just doesn't buy for the sake of buying. He uses, and he's proficient. He is very, very good.
And just a wonderful person. You can ask him anything and he will share.
Yes, he will. So this is the type of people that you get to hang with at the CNPA annual meeting.
Yeah. We have Charles Glatzer, or Chaz Glatzer, who's a Canon Explorer of Light and a tremendous wildlife photographer. He's the keynote. We've had Franz Lanting. We've had George Lepp. We've had
Tony Sweet 2 or 3 times.
Art Morris, if you're in the bird. Yeah. Charles Needle, for all you macro people, Google his name. He does some unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, macro woo-woo work.
Yeah. So. But, yeah.
Yep. We have lots of famous speakers, so yeah.
It's $149 for 3 days of tremendous content.
That's a cheap date.
Yep, 500 people.
So yeah, I got to get my hotel and get ready for that too. Les will never forgive me if I don't show up.
Ah. You got to sell gizmos like Les with those mini tripods and the flashlights and the. You got to have.
Les is the macro god.
Yep.
I need somebody to go and buy me that flashlight while you're there.
Yeah, Les is the one that sells those.
Yep.
I'll have to see if he'll comp one to you.
There you go.
That would be even better.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the broadcast here.